Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. freedomsphoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.
Freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
Yeah, crank it up here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, in the beautiful studios, the beautiful studios, that's how I know how to spell beautiful, of Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com here in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's very nice outside. They just left to go with a bunch of nickels. They're feeding the parking meters. We're feeding your meter so you don't feed the state. Courtesy of walletvoting.com. You go to walletvoting.com, and you'll see we already set it up there. It's a special edition on Freedom's Phoenix that has all kinds of goodies, and making sure that you get links to all the stuff. And then after this show, we'll definitely put this show up there and a bunch of links to Silver Circle, the movie. Now, the reason that I wanted to get wrap arms and legs around Silver Circle, the first time I met Pasha and Megan and the people associated with the movie, up in, Liberty Forum in New Hampshire this last spring. And I go there, and I saw, and I go, oh, this is looking good. This is the high quality, and we want to make sure that it gets its due. Now, of course, I wanted to be involved as any way I could. I mean, can we be a rebel poster somewhere or something? Oh, and in exchange for that, I'll be out here on, at the gun shows and on the road and on the air and on the site and everything. We're going to push the living snot out of your movie because we can. Well, I'll tell you, I'm very proud to be able to be associated with you guys because you're just a bunch of good activists, and my daughter, Sierra, producer, she's made friends with you guys, and we get to see you around the country, and I'm just really excited about this. Tell me what the buzz is in the industry. Is there anyone interested in this? Or are they just kind of keeping their head down and don't want to get in trouble, or where are you making inroads?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're... and we've enjoyed seeing you like all over the country. It's interesting. I've seen you pretty much everywhere. But the one place that we go that is unique is at comic shows. We, as an animation and also making a comic book, a graphic novel, we're perfect material for these comic book conventions, which are huge. I mean, a good libertarian show might have 1,000 people on it. Usually couple hundred people. Comic book conventions, you'll have 400 people waiting in line in the cold in tights waiting to get in the door, for 3 hours before it opens. I mean, the New York Comic Con had 90,000 people at it. And,
oh my gosh.
We got a lot of good response from that. I mean, it's a cool story. You don't have to hate the Fed to love it, but when you're done, you'll hate the Fed. So it's
Can you give us the story? Give us the storyline real quick. Kind of basically what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, what happens is there's this. Just the backstory is that the Fed has this strategic housing reserve where they take over by eminent domain entire neighborhoods, empty them out, and they expand and contract that to control the housing supply. It's just like paying farmers to not farm. And the rebels start out by blowing up these things and empty houses. Nobody is hurt. They're empty houses. And the Federal Reserve arson investigator, Jay, goes out to try to find out who's doing this and why, because it's pretty weird. And soon enough, he starts getting tangled up with the rebels, including with beautiful Zoe, one of the rebels. And, and it just kind of gets deeper and deeper between him and the Federal Reserve Chief, Victor Brandt, and they're goons, and there's this whole sort of cat and mouse kind of thing that gets.
Well, eventually they start coining their own silver or something, don't they?
The whole thing that is really behind it, it's not about blowing stuff up. It's actually creative. They're about creating a good for society as well as for themselves by creating silver rounds that people actually use for trading. And so that's the economic core of the movie. I mean, you could actually apply reverse Gresham's law, and it can get all nerdy and economist with you. But what Jay discovers is that what the rebels are really doing, aside from these explosions, is they're making real money out of real silver, and that's illegal in this world. And the Coin Act of 2016, I think, makes it illegal. Pot is actually legal in our world in 2016. We've legalized that, but made money illegal. So this stuff that you're doing, Ernie, at these gun shows with these junk silver, that's strictly illegal in our movie. So.
Oh no, I'm sure it's going to be illegal in our life here pretty quick. And the one thing that you're talking about, I mean, we have where Obama's become everybody's landlord with Fannie and Freddie already. This inventory, they're going to have to do something with it. And now the banks are getting to the point. We just had cases here in the last few days that they're ruling that they don't have the paperwork. They can't foreclose on these homes. So who's the landlord? Well, the government is. Obama's your landlord, man. Didn't you know that? And this very thing that you're talking about, as you had this in the storyline, you're starting to see this is a lot more possible than you anticipated, I would imagine.
Oh yeah. So it's and we have heavy inflation. It's not hyperinflation, but prices are 10 times what they are now in 2019, and that's very feasible. And what does that mean? That means that you have a tenth of savings that you used to. I mean, it's a bad situation economically.
It's already happened at the beginning. 10 years ago, when silver was what, $4, $5, $6 or something. How much does it have to be? I remember when it was $1.80, whatever. Now it's 30. So that 10 times thing already happened. My man. I mean, where you been?
I think we're over 200 an ounce in our movie.
We're going to remember. I remember when it used to be double digits. What I want to focus on is, what do you think the result of this? Why? What was the motivation? You're going, I'm going to make me lots of money. I'm going to spend all kinds of time, my whole life, making an animation, and I'm going to be filthy, stinking rich? Or is it what? Why did you do this?
Yeah, I'm going to work for free for years on an independent film. That sounds like real fun. But no, I mean, I want to get the message out. I want to try out the idea of creating media inside of this world and see what kind of audience there is for this kind of thing. I mean, I think there's a huge audience and huge demand for it. I mean, you found that, right? But I want to go down a different avenue than making yet another documentary, another white paper. We need those too, but you need to affect people's hearts and as well as their minds. You need to, start getting at their feelings and getting at what really motivates people instead of, in addition to reason.
Especially when they see, points. It's like reading Atlas Shrugged, and a third of it is true in the 50s, and by the time you get to now, there's only about 15 pages left,
right.
that actually starts happening. So I can see where your movie is going to be paralleled that way. The one thing that I did want to get from you is your background. I mean, you are, MIT is not a slacker school, man. So tell me what your education is and what it was you were doing in your career before you went to this.
Sure. I mean, basically, I have a degree in economics. I studied actually Russian studies. I was really interested in how Soviet economy works, so I'm very familiar with the other end of the stick from capitalism. And and basically, out of the MIT, got a degree in financial engineering, which is kind of the math side of how finance and all these derivatives and everything works.
Financial engineering.
I know, and I chose not to go in and make evil derivatives and blow people's portfolios up, but to try to describe these things, which is what this is an extension of, really. And so that's kind of what's driving it. It's wanting to describe this stuff in a way that real human beings can understand it, and to see, to start to describe what is good about some of the stuff, what's bad about it, and try to kind of bring reason into the whole discourse about
reason. Tell me the reason. You know,
Right.
the logical conclusion is, oh my goodness, we had to do this movie to explain to people what?
The two economic underlying pieces of this is inflation is very harmful to real people. I mean, right now it's an abstract concept to people, but we're going to show it as really hurting people, which it does. If you look at Argentina, look at Zimbabwe, and that alternative currencies work. And, if we can sort of get out from under the legal tender situation, we can actually start to trade in lots of different ways and beat this mandated fiat currency.
Lots of different ways. I, of course, could trade my beautiful body for lots of silver. Well, no, you might have to be blind. But, the thing is that there are alternatives. We're going to talk about other alternatives when we come back here on Declare Your Independence. We just need to be free to do it. Freedom. This is Ernest Hancock. I'm publisher of freedomsphoenix.com and the radio talk show host of Declare Your Independence. Now, I want to give you my personal endorsement of a wealthy U.S. citizen that is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He's produced a video for you. It's a real eye-opener, and I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to watch it. www.endofamerica, the numbers 1 and 7.com. endofamerica17.com. This video has the history of how we got where we are now and where we're going and why. Now, it's a lengthy video. It'll be about 20 minutes, but you need to watch this so you understand what's going to happen to this country and how you can protect your wealth and even benefit financially. Now, you go there. It's free. I want you to watch this video. You need to have this information so that you can survive the economic collapse that's coming to America. It's not if, it's when. That's End of America, the numbers 1 and 7.com. After you watch it, you'll understand why I endorse it.